Hey guys, this video is an introduction to squares. In this video, we will be discussing all the concepts related to this topic. Now first, let's understand what is the square of a number. If I have a number, for example 3, what is the square of this number? The square of a number is that number multiplied by itself. Now, how do you represent the square of a number? If we have to represent the square of 3, we can write it as 3 raised to 2. Now this 3 here is called the base and this 2 here is called the exponent. So the square of 3 can be written as 3 raised to 2, which is 3 multiplied by 3, which is equal to 9. So the square of 3 is equal to 9. Let's take another example. If we have a number 4, what will be the square of 4? The square of 4 can be written as 4 raised to 2, which is nothing but 4 multiplied by 4, which is equal to 16. So 4 squared will give you 16. What will be the square of 6? It is 6 raised to 2, which is 6 multiplied by 6, which is equal to 36. So 6 squared will give you 36. It's as simple as that. Now let's move on to the next topic. The next topic is perfect squares. So what are perfect squares? A perfect square is a number that can be expressed as the product of two equal integers. Let's understand this with the help of an example. If I give you a number 4, I can express 4 as 2 multiplied by 2. That means I can express 4 as a product of two equal integers. So I can say that 4 is a perfect square. If I give you another number 9, 9 can be expressed as 3 into 3. That means 9 can be expressed as the product of two equal integers. So I can say that 9 is also a perfect square. Now look at this table. This gives you a list of all the squares from 1 to 10. So the square of 1 is equal to 1, the square of 2 is equal to 4, the square of 3 is equal to 9, and so on. Now these numbers 1, 4, 9, 16 are perfect squares because they can be expressed as the product of two equal integers. Now if I give you a number 12, 12 lies between 9 and 16. That means 12 lies between 3 square and 4 square. We cannot express 12 as the product of two equal integers. There is no integer between 3 and 4. That is why 12 is not a perfect square. Let's take another number for example. If I give you a number 50, 50 lies between 7 square, which is 49, and 8 square, which is 64. So there is no integer between 7 and 8. So 50 is not a perfect square. Now let's look at some interesting concepts related to squares. If you look at the table, 1 is an odd number, 3 is an odd number, 5 is an odd number, 7 and 9 are odd numbers. Now if you look at their squares, the square of 1 is 1, which is an odd number. The square of 3 is 9, which is an odd number. The square of 5 is 25, which is an odd number. The square of 7 is 49, which is an odd number. And the square of 9 is 81, which is an odd number. Now if you look at the remaining numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. These are even numbers. If you look at their squares, 4, 16, 36, 64 and 100. These are also even numbers. So we can say that square of an odd number is an odd number and the square of an even number is an even number. Now here are a few numbers and their squares which are a multiple of 10. 10 square is 100, 20 square is 400, 100 square is 10,000 and 200 square is 40,000. Now here if you see 10 has one zero, but if you look at its square which is 100, it has two zeros. Similarly 20 has one zero, but its square which is 400 has two zeros. 100 has two zeros, but its square which is 10,000 has four zeros. Similarly 200 has two zeros and its square which is 40,000 has four zeros. So I can say that if you square a number which is a multiple of 10, the square will have double the number of zeros. So if I ask you what will be the number of zeros in 30, 30 has one zero, so its square will have two zeros. And the square of 3 is 9. So the square of 30 is 900. It will have two zeros. What will be the number of zeros in the square of 500? 500 has two zeros, so its square will have four zeros. And the square of 5 is 25. What will be the number of zeros in the square of 3000? So 3000 has three zeros, so its square will have six zeros. And the square of 3 will be 9. This is the answer. Now let's learn something very interesting. If I ask you what is the square of 3? The square of 3 is equal to 3 into 3, which is 9. Now if I take a negative number which is minus 3 and I ask you what is the square of minus 3? So the square of minus 3 will be minus 3 multiplied by minus 3. Now remember, the whole thing is squared, not just the number. So minus 3 into minus 3 will give me 9. If I ask you what is the square of minus 5? The square of minus 5 will be minus 5 multiplied by minus 5, which is equal to 25. Now look at all the answers. All the answers are positive. So we can say that the square of any number is always positive.